Hey everybody, this is Greg DeRocher from Safe Ride for Kids, where our company's mission is to help you and your loved ones make every arrival a safe arrival. Today I wanted to share with you a little bit of the history of how we came up with the number of 3,000 pregnancies lost a year as a result of the mother being in a car crash. When we first got introduced to the tummy shield, of course, knowing that we needed to do our due diligence and do our homework on A, the magnitude of the problem, and B, the design and integrity of the product itself and its ability to deliver on what we're claiming it will do, which is to redirect the crash energy from the lap portion of the seatbelt to the legs and lower pelvis. Part of that due diligence, part of that investigation on our part was to look for any studies that had been done with published results on what are the real risks to a pregnant woman and her unborn baby from being involved in a car crash. And quite honestly, much to my surprise, we found, I think it was about 25 different studies that have been done that talk about and address the issue of seatbelt safety, pregnancy, and the pregnant mother. And after reading through all the studies, what we came to understand was that putting a number to this particular cause of miscarriage is extremely difficult. There are many, many factors involved that make it virtually impossible to put a 100% number on this issue. And that, a large part of that is because, a woman in her early pregnancy might experience a car crash and not be diagnosed with a miscarriage for days and most likely weeks later. And the fatality might not occur, meaning that the baby might be injured during the car crash but not actually result in a terminated pregnancy until weeks to months later. So therefore there's no way to go back and say definitively that the car crash at the beginning was the cause of the miscarriage. Another issue is that prior to 20 weeks gestation, the medical industry keeps absolutely no records on, or nor do they look at, the cause of the pregnancy until a woman, in Amy and I's experience, until the second to third miscarriage, before they'll even start looking at a cause. Maybe it's something genetic or whatever, but it's just considered a statistical miscarriage prior to 20 weeks. After 20 weeks, they might start to look at the cause of why the pregnancy terminated, but even then, it's questionable and totally doctor dependent. So that whole part of the equation makes it very difficult. The other realistic part of the issue is that in most states, in most states, the baby isn't considered a person until after they've taken their first breath, meaning until they're born. That's when they could then be legally determined a person, and then they get all the rights that you and I have as human beings under the law. So if a pregnant woman loses her baby as part of a car crash, there's only a few states that will actually consider that baby a person, and the car crash manslaughter, or go down that road of potentially filing charges against whoever was at fault in the crash. Our company was recently contacted back in November by a woman out in California, and she was 8 months pregnant when she lost her baby in a car crash. She was the passenger, she was wearing her seatbelt, and her baby experienced severe brain injury and skull fractures from the lap portion of the seatbelt, doing exactly what it was supposed to do, which was to restrain her. But unfortunately, baby Bailey didn't make it. But she was born by emergency C-section and lived for several hours. So she then had, my understanding is being considered a statistical fatality in California. All of that to say that it's extremely difficult to put a fixed number on how many pregnancies are lost every year as a result of the mother being in a car crash. At Safe Ride for Kids, we chose the number 3,000, or approximately 8 a day, because that was the mid-range in all the different studies between the high end and the low end of the numbers that they were putting out of women who experience fetal death as a result of a car crash. Another interesting statistic that we came across is that approximately 170,000 pregnant women are involved in car crashes every single year. Not dead, but just are involved in car crashes. And we believe, based on all of the study and research that we've done, that 3,000 is a realistic number of pregnancies that are lost. To put that number, 3,000 a year, into perspective, we've all, for the last few years, heard all kinds of media attention around children who die in hot cars. And those are tragic. The reality is that only approximately 35 fatalities a year are a result of a child being left in a car. And to look at kids in car seats after they're born, from birth to 4 years old, on average in the US, there's an estimated 400 children in that 4-year age range who lose their lives as a result of being in a car crash. So we're talking an estimated 3,000 pregnancies every year, and post-birth, there are an estimated 400 for children birth to 4 years old. It's actually a 5-year window. We think that driving while pregnant is one of the most risky things that a pregnant woman will do during her pregnancy. And one of the things Taylor shared with us about her experience was that none of the websites, nobody was talking to her about the risks of driving while pregnant. And at Safe Ride for Kids, our mission is to change that. So if you like this video, if you appreciate this kind of great content, feel free to sign up and get more safe driving while pregnancy tips by downloading our ebook. Make sure to follow us on social media, and remember that safety is about making informed choices that put the odds in your favor. Thanks very much and have a great day.